I don't know how to go about saying this. I don't normally do, like, reaction videos. That's just not really my thing. The Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer came out today, and with me playing Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut, it seems kind of appropriate. Beyond that, I've been seeing a lot of negative reaction to this thing. I'm going to watch the trailer, and I know I'm going to cut the audio out because from what I can tell, what other people have said, it's getting their videos copyright claimed because of like the song in it or something. You know, having seen previous poster art for this thing, I'm not optimistic. It looks to me like Hollywood did it again. We'll see. Sonic shedding electrical quills for some reason. What's wrong with his hand? Oh. Oh, no. Oh. He exploded. What the hell? Huh? Oh dear. That's Robotnik. That's Ace Ventura. I'm sorry. Oh God. Planet? Not save the planet, but save your planet. Why is it playing Gangster Paradise? Why would you do that? Why would he stick... Why is the ring a portal now? I'll give him credit, the voice sounds pretty good. The voice actor. In what way does that voice sound like a child? That at least somewhat resembled him. At least it kind of looked like Robotnik, but it's skinny Robotnik for some reason. I'm gonna have to... That's more disappointing than I expected it to be. Ooh. So, let me see if I can analyze this a little bit. Lord have mercy. Starts out promisingly enough with the sound and everything. That right there, there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. The biggest thing I see there is the motion blur that they have for Sonic looks a little too bright. Considering he's supposed to be like in a real world environment, he's lit up too much for the things around him. Other than that, it really didn't look terrible. They could darken that blue just a little bit and it would look pretty good. Maybe make it a little more transparent. It's... Why is he... There's... like 2 or 3 times we see people handling these quills. Why is Sonic shedding electric quills? You know, in the Flash, there's electricity and stuff like that, but that's not what Sonic is. The only thing that Sonic has with electricity is that ring-collecting electromagnetic force field that creates a little ball of electricity around him, and that is not what they've shown here. I just don't understand even remotely why you would put that in there. Not bad. That's promising. It's the right sound effect. What the hell is that? What is that? Why is his hand that? It's supposed to be a glove. It's part of the character design. He's basically based on those old cartoon characters, so he's got like gloves and shoes on. That looks awful. And why is his arm blue? It just makes it look worse. It's really weird looking. I can't explain it, but I think it's just that there's not enough of something there to make it work. I knew that was... It just doesn't look right. I think, kind of looking at it, beyond the fact that he doesn't have the gloves on, the quills don't necessarily look bad, but the proportions are wrong. The way the body's built there, you can tell he's supposed to be smaller than a human, but he's got human proportions. Now, if you go back far enough in my DeviantArt and stuff like that, you'll know that I created my own interpretation of what a more human-looking Sonic would be. Part of that actually came with sort of a realization that if you do that, it's not really a good Sonic story anymore. It has to be something set in another universe where that makes sense. Because it doesn't make sense in a Sonic universe. The character has a design that is specific to that character, that it really belongs to that character. Here he's stretched out, his proportions are wrong. It just doesn't look right. The shoes aren't terrible. And I know I saw the Nike swoosh on there. Not terrible. But it's not really right either. The impression I always got is that he had on, like, some fairly heavy-duty shoes, something with some ankle support to it. And the thing is, I think if those were high tops, and then you had the socks on top of it, that would probably look a little better. It kind of helps to ground the character, I think, a little more. I'm not terribly disappointed, but Nike makes high tops. Red high tops. These shoes may well have actually saved my ankle when I fell, because I was wearing them the day that I fell at work. And just the extra ankle support may well have kept me from doing more damage to my ankle than I already did. I tore my ankle up. And we think this probably made it better than it could have been. I think if I had been wearing like what he's wearing, it would have tore me up. But this right here, I think, would look a little more fitting on him than that. You know, they can make the appropriate, you know, patterns and everything, but it just doesn't... I don't hate the shoes here. They just don't feel quite right. They feel, I guess, too light, for lack of a better term. It just doesn't look quite right. And of course you have the electricity pouring out of his feet. That's borderline terrifying. I just looked over at myself in the camera. I look absolutely distraught. But I mean, how do you explain this? I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't look right at all. And I think part of it is the eyebrows are not pronounced enough. So that's part of it. You know, your eyebrows, when you're looking up, you see the shadow under my eyes there? They've sort of got that there, but it's not pronounced enough for Sonic. Sonic's got that extra bit of meat on those eyebrows. They don't look like actual eyes. There's no texture to that. You know, they're really shiny and everything, but they look artificial. Like there's no blood vessels, no, you know, tissue. If you're trying to make this look halfway realistic, you got to add the extra shaders there, you know, those extra layers to make it look like there's actually, you know, blood pumping through his veins. Actually something in there. He's running so fast that he can break the sound barrier and then some. His eye's probably going to get a little dry once in a while. saying that we need bloodshot eyes. I'm just saying that it's too white. It's unnatural. That is uncanny valley type stuff there. They're too far apart. I don't know if I can do this or not. I have to find my lineup spot here. His sides of his head are right in here. And that's the quills. If I bring my hands together a little more, that's the sides of his head. His eyes, the way this looks, are over here. They're too far apart. You know, he doesn't have to have that, you know, cycloptic design that the cartoon character has, but there's too much girth right in here. What happens when you push a character's eyes apart, this just comes from designing characters for comics and stuff. When you push their eyes apart, you give them a derpy face. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. You make them look a little off. I'm sounding extremely critical on this. It's not that bad here. Like, I could get behind that to some degree. I'm a little concerned about all the electricity because it's completely unnecessary. I don't know why that's the standard now. But a super fast person, a speedster, is somehow supposed to be throwing off electricity. He's tapped into the Speed Force or something. I don't know. But yeah, that doesn't look terrible, but you can kind of see what I was saying again. He doesn't really look like he's there. It's too bright. The light behind him is too bright. His after image, for lack of a better term, is too bright. That blur should be more translucent and a little darker, but that's something they could tweak, you know, between now and then, and it would at least give him a little more grounding. I feel like in the lighting here, the shadow's probably too light also. So this feels like maybe unfinished CG. So maybe they'll fix some of that between now and release. So that could look better. Now, he ran by in the beginning of the trailer. The police officer had his speed gun pointed out, the radar gun. But that's the police car right there, isn't it? Like a sheriff's department, you know, deputy car or something, highway patrol, something hidden behind the sign to try and catch somebody breaking the speed limit. And then Sonic is now glowing. The electricity around him is making him glow. And then he went nuclear for some reason. What the hell is that? He just straight up explodes. Now, with it paused, I can see his streaks moved on, and he's almost off the screen. In fact, he might even be off the screen. There's something else there that looks like maybe a trail of some sort that's like a... Yeah, I don't understand what this is even supposed to be. In some way, he ran fast and generated an EM pulse or something, because they cut from this to this. So he didn't just generate an EM pulse, he generated one that took all day. So there's something else there. I don't know what. There's something they're not showing us. It makes me wonder if one of the other characters isn't going to be there, or if it's going to turn out to be Dr. Robotnik is actually the one that emitted the impulse in the first place. There's clearly something missing there. But the way they've edited it in the trailer, Sonic just caused an impulse that took all day to take effect and knocked out the power for the Northeast or something. Except when they show this, that's a lot more than the Northeast. An energy surge knocked out power across the entire Pacific Northwest, which is now apparently half the nation. I didn't know that. I didn't know Texas was in the Pacific Northwest. You know, that's not bad for like early days of Robotnik or something like that, like an origin story Robotnik. Because it at least looks like something. But remember that in the games, the comics, the various and sundry animated shows, pretty much every Sonic media there is, Robotnik is an overweight, older fellow riding around in, like, one of the biggest, roundest hover chairs that ever existed. That's the way that the character's been designed. His little Eggmobile is like a hover chair. And when he's not in a localized area, but he's traveling somewhere, he always has something ridiculous. Like the egg carrier, the death egg, things like that. Not a tractor trailer. But like I say, I could kind of buy that as maybe his earliest stuff, maybe. Sort of. So I can dig that, you know, that I like the design of that in general, because it does look kind of, you know, advanced. It does look like it's supposed to be something high-tech, you know. I am not sure what that is. But the way they focus on it tells me that's supposed to be something important. I don't know if that's a robotic eye, or supposed to be like a housing around a Chaos Emerald or something, maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to decide if that's supposed to be the Matrix or Nazi. That is not Dr. Robotnik. Not even in his younger days. That's just Jim Carrey. It looks like an older Ace Ventura dressing up in a Matrix outfit. On the positive side, there's a good chance that Jim Carrey will make this at least somewhat funny. It's just not appropriate for the villain, as it were. There's no telling, you know, I don't know anything about this movie beyond what I'm seeing here. I wonder if you know, he is in some way releasing, you know, chaos or something. I think I'm giving the movie makers too much credit, though. I mean, this really is kind of concerning. That's disturbing. He said SFPD, so that was supposed to have been San Francisco that he was running through the desert in? I gotta admit, I would probably react that way to this particular iteration of Sonic. But this is as cliched a joke as any. And that's terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying. What the hell is that? Oh, that's awful. Like, that's beyond, you know, there's something really wrong with everything on that face. Like, whoever designed sculpted the model, or that is not right. Like, they need to go back to the drawing board on that face, and, I mean, that's, ooh, it looks awful. Ugh. Thing is, looking at his face, it just hit me. Looking at his face here, and the mouth, you know, listening to him talk, and the sort of sarcastic tone and everything, it reminds me of Chucky. He looks like Chucky possessed a hedgehog-themed doll. This just struck me a minute ago. That's what it is. There is something about this. It does not look like a living organism. It looks like Chucky got tired of walking around in the regular red-headed doll and saw a Sonic plushie somewhere and possessed it and mutated it into this. And then there's that line. Basically, it looks like I'm going to have to save your planet. Is Sonic an alien now in this movie? Is that what they're going for? There have been about 2 or 3 different ways that they've done this along the way, like with time travel and things like that, but typically Sonic's regular world is just a little different. It's like in a far-flung future where a lot has distorted the planet. There's been who knows what, but the idea is that Sonic and the other freedom fighters were animals that have effectively evolved into a more humanoid form. I can't think of any instance where I would have assumed that Sonic was an alien. That doesn't really make any sense, even in terms of the story. I've even seen, like, fan comics and stuff where Sonic was kind of like what they did with Shadow, where he was a creation from a lab experiment, you know? That's how he got his power and stuff like that. This idea, the way he worded that, would indicate that he's an alien. Meanwhile, there is this apparently drone car following them. Doesn't really look like any of Robotnik's usual creations. Well, obviously, there's something cut out there. There has to be. Because you notice the cord's missing there. The cable is missing. So there has to have been something else that happened that's been chopped out. That's kind of the problem with this trailer. You can tell there are parts that have been chopped out that would really give us a lot of context as to what's happening. Now, they're doing that on the grounds they don't want to spoil anything. The problem is, when you play this part of a scene and move up to this part of the scene and then move up, it becomes really disjointed. You've got to pick a chunk that shows you a little taste of what's going on, a little taste of Sonic's attitude, a little taste of his speed, a little taste of what Dr. Robotnik's all about. Now, I've actually read some of the comments on Twitter and stuff like that. This is not a movie that was made for 30-year-old, blah, 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 blah. Look, your biggest market is going to be people who have gone and, played the earliest games all the way through till now. My nephew, I basically introduced him to Sonic with my nephew and my niece. Both are big, Sonic fans. Part of the reason I decided to go ahead and do this reaction, my nephew, when he comes home talking about the trailer, and he doesn't understand what's going on with it. I don't care if you made it for me or for little kids. It sounds like nobody's happy with it. It could be that the trailer is just garbage. It could be that the movie's actually going to be a lot better. It could even be that a lot of these effects aren't finished yet. I hope that's the case. I hope we're looking at incomplete scenes that are going to be heavily refined. What I keep thinking about is Detective Pikachu. I haven't even seen that movie, but I've seen the trailers for it. And I've seen that they managed to pull off a lot of Pokemon in a quote-unquote real-world, live-action environment. They look good. They look really good. Why couldn't they do that with Sonic? Why does he look so bad? I'm sure that's meant to be, HAL 9000 reference or something. Sonic is running down the building. That's not a bad touch. That's Sonic Adventure DX. But he took a ring out of somewhere. Heaven help us. He's not wearing a backpack. He's not wearing a belt. I hope he's not even wearing his gloves. I hope that was in his shoe. Because they have not shown it to be on his wrist or anything up to this point. But he just pulls a ring out and throws it. And whoever these two idiots are have somehow fallen off a building. The ring expands and creates a portal. Like a portal-style portal, an actual portal. Now, I would say, given the sudden burst of blue coming out of those turbines on the sides, whatever, rotors, something, and the apparent blue energy that he's shooting at Sonic, I'm guessing he's supposed to somehow tap into the Speed Force. By all appearances, he takes Sonic's little electric quill and reverse engineers it to create energy for his stuff or something. we're missing so much context. There could be a story there, but that's not how it actually works. That's not how any of this works. I don't know why it's red energy now instead of blue. Maybe there is Chaos Emeralds in here in some capacity. And he's using a red emerald now instead of a blue emerald or something. I don't know. Where is the creative element? These look like they were made for a different movie. This does not look like a Sonic the Hedgehog movie right here. Like, you could cover him up. Of course, he doesn't even look like he's in the scene right there. There's something wrong with the shading and everything on this shot. So, again, it feels incomplete, but there is something legitimately off here. And I think it's because it does not look like it belongs in this. It looks kind of like it belongs in a Portal movie, if you want to know the truth. The freaking turrets from Portal, oh my gosh! That's why the red dots look so familiar. Oh my gosh! This isn't a Sonic movie, it's a Portal movie. Well, maybe if they throw GLaDOS in there, it'll actually be an entertaining movie. That is a big part of what's wrong with this. These don't look like robotics contraptions. These look like Aperture Science contraptions. No, now we're going to do the... You can even see it a little better in this shot if you look kind of at the little drones floating around. They look like they belong in Portal. That is a big part of what my problem... I just hit on what I think has thrown me off. The combination of Sonic not looking right and the fact that so much of Eggman's technology looks like it belongs in Portal. And this moment is, I can tell you now, coming from, from Quicksilver, as much as anything. If he can do this, how did he get shot with the tranquilizer earlier? Well, he wasn't expecting it. Well, yeah. There's a problem here. And it's that they're trying to copy something from another movie that really shouldn't be there. Literally, the idea, SATAM, I think, did it best. He can run at supersonic speeds. He can run faster than the speed of sound. But to really get going, he needed a power ring. I think that's what they're going to be doing here, because that ring can be a portal and everything else. I hope there's Chaos Emeralds in here somewhere, but they haven't shown any. And he's clearly not glowing gold here with his Dragon Ball Z ripoff supersonic mode. This is trying to make him look like he's doing better than Quicksilver, really. I mean, this looks like they're taking that scene for inspiration, those scenes, but they don't know how to do it. I really don't understand the use of Gangsta's Paradise here, because it really doesn't match Sonic. But even, I feel like there's a missed opportunity here to use Deadmau5. For whatever reason in my head, I think Deadmau5 would look good in this, and they could use some really energetic sort of, beats that would actually go with this better, I think. Could be wrong, but I think that sound would flow better with this and give it proper energy. Gangsta's Paradise just really out of place. We're missing context again. I think as I rewatch this, there's potential here. The character model for Sonic really needs tweaks, and I don't think they're going to do that. But it could maybe get past it to some degree. But the use of Gangsta's Paradise, the way that this is cut, we're losing so much context that it's making it kind of a lousy trailer. And it may actually be that the movie isn't as terrible as it looks. Because I gotta tell you, right now, this looks terrible. This looks terrible. And it looks like they haven't done anything. The effects don't look finished. The character design doesn't look finished. It really does. When it hit me that it really does look like Chucky, you know, or like a doll that's been possessed by the spirit of a serial killer. You know, the jokes they've shown us, the scripting, it's full of cliches, it's full of references to other stuff. Even Dr. Robotnik's tech looks like it came out of Portal rather than out of a Sonic game. Why? He has one of the quills. It just dawned on me. That's what that is. He's holding one of the quills. So he is using that quill to power his technology. What in the world were these people thinking? Oh, that is bad writing. My head is actually starting to hurt with this. I keep trying to make an explanation for this. I keep trying to think, okay, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. Why? Why is it like this? This is squandered opportunity. This was the chance to do a live-action Sonic movie, to have fun, to make something entertaining. Why did they do this? This is awful looking. There's people who disagree. I don't care. That's your opinion. You know, this is my opinion. That looks terrible. Why are they doing this? Why is it deviating that badly from stuff where they've had stories? They at least have stories that can point them in the, you know, maybe it's supposed to be the Mushroom Kingdom. Did they get the rights to Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games? You know, I'm sorry. This bugs me now. And it's not that they don't look right. That's only a portion of this. It's that it looks like they did not take the time to make the characters look the way they should. They did not finish their effects the way that they should. It looks like the budget got chopped somewhere along the way, because even those mushrooms don't look good. They look like generic CG from like Spy Kids movies. You know, Spy Kids 3 or whatever. They don't look tangible or real in any capacity. This just doesn't look right. And that tells me that I sure hope there's a bunch of incomplete stuff here, and I sure hope there's a script that makes at least some semblance of sense. Oh, what was that kid's name? Please tell me that is not Officer Chris Thorndike. I kind of have a feeling we're headed toward that revelation. Help us. Even if he's not, he's going to be that kind of character. God damn it. Why? Why? The writing that I have seen here, it could be good in the movie. Don't, rule that out. It could actually be good in the movie, but experience tells me it's not going to be. Experience tells me this is going to suck. A lot of people have pointed out, I saw on Twitter lots of comments, it's going to be like the Mario Brothers movie. But that's disappointing. I understand that will be at least funny. You'll be able to laugh at it. MST3K can take a crack at it. Yeah, that's great, but it wasn't supposed to be this. Why is it like this? Who greenlit this mess? All right. I think I've sufficiently complained about this long enough. I can see some eye riffs of this. I can picture it in my head now. I can picture some riff tracks. That's part of the problem with the design. The proportions are the humanoid proportions with an oversized head. It looks like a guy in a mascot costume. You know what I can't wait to see? I can't wait to see the weird trailers for this. Because that's going to happen, and there's going to be some Ace Ventura moving across there.